dangers to face.
Writing off Magic Legends as just another Diablo-style action RPG is an easy knee-jerk reaction to its isometric hack-and-slash gameplay, but it's not an accurate one. Cryptic's free-to-play action RPG meets deck-building hybrid includes plenty of surface-level similarities to Blizzard's genre-defining series, but there are just as many differences, both good and bad. I found, though, that I was never really comfortable in Magic Legends because your strategy is always changing, and that's dictated literally by the hand that you're dealt. In Magic Legends, you take control of your own Planeswalker, but the options for customization lack enough detail to feel meaningful. There's a story about uniting forces across the Magic multiverse against an evil sorcerer with some above-average voice acting.
A turned back is as good as stolen breath.
But after battling through it for about 30 hours, I honestly don't remember anything of note. Where Legends does break the mold is in its card game-inspired dealing out of abilities, and it adds a lot of variance in combat. When you're building your deck, you get to pick 12 different cards from your entire library, and when you're in combat, those are drawn into your 4-card hand randomly. Since you never really know which of your abilities will show up at any given moment, you can never fall into a routine of popping off abilities over and over again, which is a bit of a bummer. Just like the card game is based on, every ability in Magic Legends is divided between 5 types of mana, each of which is native to a given class. There's a lot of flexibility there, and tinkering with your deck composition is the best part of Magic Legends. As much as I enjoy the variety that's introduced by the randomized hand format, it comes with some notable downsides. For one, I found I didn't get the feeling of momentum and steamrolling through zones as you grow in power like you do in most action RPGs. Instead, everything just sort of plateaus after the first 5 hours. But more importantly, it meant I never really settled in or felt comfortable with my build. Also, most of the time, I just ended up with a hybrid deck since it's always the most efficient and effective option. If you don't have any summonable creatures to soak up damage and handle the swarms of enemies, you won't be able to survive very long, and you can't fend for yourself, and if you don't mix in some big damage dealing magic attacks, then fights will take way too long and get tedious. Co-op teams could synergize playstyles together, but there isn't really much benefit to that since the mechanics of casting a fireball and summoning a creature are really still the same. The other major issue with combat is that you have to deal with a tremendous amount of visual noise going on at all times. It all just smears together. Exaggerated explosions fill up the screen, the bland art style makes most regions look the same, and characters look like something out of an ultra-generic mobile MOBA. Compare that to the evocative, iconic, and insanely detailed artwork emblazoned across each and every card in the actual Magic the Gathering card game, and it's deeply disappointing. Since this is still open beta, I don't want to be too harsh on the performance side of things, and to be fair, Cryptic has already made some big changes and improvements since launch, but it's impossible to ignore in a game with a fully operational cash shop and paid battle pass that the frame rate just constantly drops to a chug, even on a PC that far exceeds the recommended specs. And while you can engage in 1v1 duels for fun if you want, next to no one really seems to actually do that in PvP, and there doesn't seem to be any level-based matchmaking, so it's pretty busted. Magic Legends doesn't have the most aggressive microtransactions that I've seen in a free-to-play game, but it's far from the most generous either. After you pick a single class at the start, the other 4 are locked behind their own individual paywall for $25 in Zen each, or you can grind for dozens and dozens of hours to unlock them. Besides that, you can buy convenience items like XP boosters, increase the power of specific spells you own, and even booster packs that aren't actually booster packs at all. To longtime Magic fans, that term probably means you get an assortment of random cards with the chance of getting something rare, but in Magic Legends, it just means a bunch of convenience items and a few specific cards. There's a pretty standard Battle Pass too, with basic cosmetics and skins. It all adds up to feel like Cryptic has clearly designed everything in such a way that it pretty quickly becomes tedious and inconvenient to play without dishing out cash regularly. Magic Legends is a fun action RPG that has a clever deck-building twist with a solid foundation, but it can't quite stick the landing amidst a deluge of performance issues, heavy focus on grinding to unlock game features, and a less than ideal cash shop. There's enough here to prevent the Diablo clone label, and I genuinely think that with some time and patches, it can get into better shape. But until then, this deck's just a bit too shuffled. For more on Magic Legends, check out this official gameplay overview from the developer, and for everything else, stay tuned to IGN.